It's the Eagle Community Television Forum with your host, Gary Shorman.
Hi everyone, I'm Gary Shorman and this is the Forum on Eagle Community Television. The Forum is brought to you by Hayes Med. We're going to talk about beer brewing and entrepreneurship. Those two things combined with a couple of gentlemen in the Hayes area that put together a brewing company that has won some neat awards. Our guest is Matt Bender. And Matt, good to have you on our program.
Definitely a pleasure. I appreciate it.
You know, we talk about doing this and it's really a national phenomenon that has done really well in Ellis County. How did you get started in this process?
As far as just my background, moved to Hayes in 2005. I was born in Russell.
But you weren't brewing beer when you moved to town,
No. I kind of dabbled in it a little bit as far as like on the homebrew level. And it was something that I wanted to do in school. So went to kind of had 2 degrees, one small business entrepreneurship, one hotel and restaurant management, and kind of always wanted to go on the pub side. And the more I got into it, the more I wanted to go on the actual production side of it. So when I moved to Hayes in 2005, kind of had a few jobs around and ended up getting a job at Geller's Diner and LB Brewing Company in 2007. And ended up meeting my wife and Natalie. She works at a bank. I'm not supposed to mention that. But
a good wife nonetheless.
Yes,
right?
yes. Ended up having my son, Mason, who's at Wilson Elementary in first grade. And I worked with a guy named Dylan Soltzer, and we kind of always talked and dreamed about it and everything, you know, when we're hanging out, having a few pints. And we ended up getting approached by Kenny Gottschalk, who's a local business owner. And he just kind of asked if it was something that we'd ever like to pursue and everything. And, you know, being young and everything and young families and starting up, we definitely wanted to follow our dream and go into, you know, production and doing a mass product more or less that we took a lot of pride in. So it's definitely been a journey, a lot of, you know, ebbs and flows and learning.
Well, you know what, when you
everything.
talk about doing it and obviously some great training and you've sort of been able to really take and some things obviously learned there and turn into some really great brews that have won some awards, and the brewery has won some awards. But when you do that, it's not as simple as just going somewhere and saying, hey, I want to brew beer.
No.
Is that fair to say?
It's extremely fair to say. I mean, like I said, you can do a lot of, there's thousands of books out there. And you can
buy kits, you can buy
homebrew kits. Yeah. There's different forums online. There's numerous different websites that you can get onto. So it was really nice. Like when we started this, Dylan was a glorified homebrewer. Like his beer is absolutely amazing. And so we would go to his garage and sit there and just come up with recipes and everything. And I definitely give him 100% credit on everything that we've come up with so far. And we took the recipes and everything that we liked. We wanted to start with something very sessionable and light. We're beer drinkers. And so it's a lot easier to get off work and be able to have 1 or 2 and still be able to function as opposed to your higher ABVs, the 10 and 12% beers. So that's where we went with our year rounds, where with the seasonals, we can ramp it up and we can play brewer a lot more and have more fun with it. And we're going to get into a lot of barrel aging and stuff along that lines. Dylan's going to start a sour program. But so that's kind of where we started with it as far as just real light and sessionable beers.
Well, let me just ask, for those out there watching that maybe have never been a part or even seen that happen, how complicated is it? I mean, is it dangerous? Are there explosions? I mean, what all happens? And you hope that there's not.
Well, hopefully there's not.
Yeah, but there is fire.
There is. We do use a direct fire kettle. We run about a million BTUs in the actual building. But it's a combination of two. I mean, it's a lot of science as far as hitting pHs, ratios, temperatures, and everything along that lines, with a lot of physical activity. Everything that we do is 100% hands-on, whether it's the actual brewing process, cleaning, or the actual packaging of it. Everything is very hands-on. And so it's kind of like a combo, more or less, of science and the Ironman competition. It's just kind of a play on both. It depends what the day is.
Now, where do you get your ingredients? How do you go about finding those that are just right, that aren't what you would say just the standard, typical come out of the box kind of thing?
Yes. Well, we go through, for all of our grain, we go through BSG, which is a brewer supply group, and they're up in Minnesota. And then as far as hops, we have several different companies that we go through. We go through Yakima, Indie Hop, Hop Union. So it's several different ones. More or less, they're kind of like a Cisco of the food world, where they're a big conglomerate where all the individual farmers send it there. They have a huge malting facility, and so they take care of that for us. And so when we get it, it's already ready to actually go into the product.
And in some cases, it takes it's the combination, the heat, the involvement, the way you go about the process that gives you the different nuances, correct?
Yes, I mean, a lot of it has to do, it's the same thing as cooking. I mean, you have an idea of, as far as like cilantro or oregano or everything, you have an idea as far as what flavor profile and aroma they're gonna put off into the beer, or into your food. So it's pretty much the same thing with, different malts and different hops. You just kind of, we'll sit around and we'll come up with a flavor profile and just an overall beer and concept that we want to take it with, and from there we'll actually build our recipe up with it. Your darker roasted malts and everything for your more stouts and porters, and we take a lot of pride in IPAs, and so we're big hop heads, and so the different hop varieties, some will throw more tropical, like your pineapple, your mango. Some will be a little more earthy, some will have lemon zest. I mean, it's just kind of all over the place. And so.
There may be some people watching that say you have a perfect job trying to do the testing on this. Is that fair to say?
It's within reason. We definitely we work hard, but we play harder. It's kind of a combo of the two.
One of the things, let's talk about the business in general at breweries, because I know when you travel around, you go different places around the country, you'll run into a lot of different brew pubs and breweries that are coming up with their own. That's sort of taken over the country.
That's one thing. As far as having the perfect job, the industry is the reason why it's the perfect job. It's just amazing. It's one of the few industries that I know of where everyone gets along. I mean, as far as the craft industry as a whole, we just within 2014 just finally broke double digits as far as the overall beer market in the United States, and it's nice. We have three enemies: Bud, Miller, Coors. And I hate to throw them under the bus or anything like that, but I mean, as far as the craft industry, that's what we're working towards as far as expanding our market shares. And with craft drinkers, they're a little bit different than your AB and your Miller Coors drinkers, where typically, if that's your style, that's what you're gonna drink and that's it. Where craft drinkers, on Monday they'll drink tall grass, on Tuesday it'll be Free State, Wednesday Gellas, Thursday us, and that's just kind of how the craft drinker actually takes it. You have your different seasons as far as what people are drinking, but it's just kind of a whole, it's a big brotherhood, more or less. I mean, it's just a traveling road show at different festivals and everything, so we have a lot of fun with it and get along. So.
I want to talk a little bit about your name. You have your Defiance shirt on. Talk about your name. We'll also talk about how you come up with some of the names for your brews, because interesting names and kind of what you have on the long range plan. So we'll be back. Our guest is Matt Bender, who is part of the Defiance Brewing Company, and he and his partner Dylan Sulzer have worked together and formed a company that's been growing and expanding in Kansas and other parts of the country. Back with more after this.
Hayes Med is your first and best choice for healthcare. They're the only facility providing tertiary level services in this region. With more than 70 physicians and 26 specialties ranging from heart, orthopedic, spine care, cancer, obstetrics and gynecology, wound care, rehabilitation and surgery, including the Da Vinci robotic surgery, Hayes Med is your comprehensive health provider for people throughout Western Kansas. Hayes Med, helping people be healthy.
It's a beautiful day in our super high-speed internet great customer service neighborhood. Like you, this is where we live. In fact, our company is employee-owned, so it's our goal to improve the quality of life for everyone in our community by delivering faster, more reliable internet, clearer, more feature-laden phone service, quality TV channels, all with the level of customer service you'd expect from people who are your neighbors. Eagle Communications. Our community connected.
Welcome back to the second half of our Forum program, where we're talking about entrepreneurship and brewing beer. It's a fun combination. Our guest is Matt Bender, and our program is brought to you by Hayes Med. Matt, we went into the break talking about Defiance, the name of your
Yes.
company, and the logo that you have on your shirt and cap. How'd you come up with the name? Because there's some crazy names across the country.
There's some off the wall ones, and a lot of people have fun with them. Defiance, when we were kind of talking about it, Dylan and I are both millennials. When we started up, I was 32 and he was 26. And so our generation, if you noticed over the last about 10 to 5 years more or less, our generation is getting defiant as far as beer and food. You're starting to see a lot more people get away from mass-produced products and get more into the craft as far as beer. And the same thing with food. If you follow like Food Network or anything along that lines, people are definitely getting a lot more craft and getting away from the McDonald's and the mass-produced stuff.
Well, it's one of those things that one come up for a name for your company, but then you have anything that you produce has to have a name.
It does.
And I know you look across the country, you know, you have copyright issues, you have challenges you have to look
Yes.
into. How do you go about coming up with the name? And what are go through the names.
Okay. As far as the year rounds, we've got 3 right now, and but by November we'll have a 4th year round out. So we started with our main 2, which is Gutch. Kenny Gottschalk is
Gutch.
Yes. And so that was our homage to him to help us actually get this started and get it up and running. We definitely wanted to pay credit to Kenny for it. And then Thrasher is kind of a play off 2 different things. One, you have, you know, as far as harvest and everything, the actual Thrasher. And then at the same time, like I said, we're millennials. Both Dylan and I used to skate a lot. And so there's a Thrasher skateboarding magazine. So it's kind of a play off our hometown, but our generation at the same time. Willy-nilly, we were we were just trying to come up with another name, and Dylan and I were sitting around and just kind of talking after work and everything, and he shot the name Willy-nilly out. And as far as like our graphics and everything, John Stadler, who's a Fort Hays graduate, he's from Wichita, does actually all of our designs. He came up with the D logo and everything, and just kind of gave our company an image more or less. But so we came up with the name Willy-nilly, and we started looking through John's portfolio, and he had the actual design was in his portfolio and everything. So immediately we're like, this is it. This matches the name, this matches the beer, which is made with Willamette hops, so that's where the Willy kind of came into it. And so we got in contact with John, and we're like, this has to happen. And he went with it, kind of tailored it a little bit more towards a can, and so we took it and ran with it. Seasonals, we've got Fuzzy Knuckles, which we actually just got recognition for BYO, which is a national homebrew magazine. It was the pick for the class 2014. That's the beer that they pick and decided to do a scaled down version of. But Travis Reynolds is one of the guys that works with us, and he came up with the name Fuzzy Knuckles. And we have Origami Spaceship, Happy Feet. The next one that's our fall seasonal is Apergoza Fragilistic. So,
And by the way, if you have suggestions, you can stop by. My guess
Yes.
is stop by and help with some names later on.
Yes.
So that you have some fun ones out there.
We
Can
do.
people stop by and try your beer? I know you don't have a pub per se,
Yes.
like Gellows, but you do have a place where people can stop by. Correct?
We do. Like I said, when we started this, we wanted the actual like production facility, and
Which means
so-
cans, right? Or bottles?
Yes,
Cans and
we
bottles?
do can. When we get into our barrel aging and sour program, we'll go along the 750 bomber route, milliliters. But no, we opened a tap room up in the end of May, and right now it's very limited hours, Thursday and Friday 4 to 7, and Saturday 1 to 5. And basically it's just a chance. We do not offer food or anything along that lines. It's just a chance for consumers to actually come in, one, get to hang out with us and kind of see the facility. And 2, we also have a pilot system there that we do little one-off beers, and that's kind of where we're using it to build where we're going to go with it. And so it's our chance to come out with 15-gallon batches, and it's a lot cheaper to mess that up than 1,200. As far as we do something the public doesn't take to it or anything. So it's kind of our chance to have fun and kind of get a feeler as far as what the market wants.
You're sending out cans, I'm sure, every week, but where all do you distribute to?
We, as far as would have been June of 2014, we've covered the whole state of Kansas. We go through the KCA, which is the Kansas Craft Alliance, And with that, they have 13 distributors or wholesalers statewide, which is all the AB House. And so we're statewide in Kansas, and then as of right now, we have about half of the state of Missouri. And through the end of the year, we're really pushing to close out Missouri and have a couple of more states we're trying to fill out.
So is that surprisingly hard to get done?
It is. Anytime you're dealing with the government, it's fun. But no, it's a lot of it is. I mean, we wanted to grow since day one, and it's just a matter of trying to come up with a game plan and projecting as far as what every market's going to do. And so we want to grow, but at the same time, we don't want to grow too fast. And so we're just trying to be overly cautious with it, especially with us only being a year and a half old. It's the nonstop growing pains as far as trying to figure out what we're going to do.
And that's one of the challenges looking forward. What do you expect to happen going forward? If you look 5 years down the road, are you going to have to take over the rest of your building out there?
Well, I mean, that's the goal. No, we'll see what happens. I don't know. I mean, we're really happy with where we're at right now. We're already exceeding our expectations through the first year, and this year we're looking at pretty good growth with it. And I mean, a lot of it, that's one thing as far as like growing pains that from the beginning that I gave up on is trying to predict what's going to happen. It's just going with the flow.
You know, like most entrepreneurial things, at some point it goes from being an entrepreneurial project to a business project.
Yes.
When does it make that move that it becomes the business side of it more so than maybe the entrepreneurial side of it?
Well, I don't think the entrepreneurial side will ever go away. Our main thing is we just want to stay having fun. And we don't want to get too big where it actually becomes a company. Wrong way to say that. Oh, mercy, I can't think of the word. I mean, basically, we just want it to be a fun environment. And that's one thing that, as far as growth and everything, that's why we don't want to grow too fast, is we don't want it to get into a hectic hustle and bustle every single day and we stop having fun with it. Because the moment you stop having fun with beer, your product's going to show it immediately.
Well, it's great to see what you guys have done out there, the growth part. What's the address of your place? You're on West 8th Street?
We are at...
East 8th Street?
Yes, it's 2050 East Highway, which Google Maps actually have us at the Humane Society. So we're on...
that could be kind of exciting for someone dropping by.
It is. Either way, it could come to the brewery and leave with a dog. I don't know. It's 2050 East Highway 40, so we're on the southeast part of town, right between Budweiser and Pepsi.
And so you can find it out there on the old highway. And I call it 8th Street, but it is the old highway going out through there for making that work. Thanks for being on our program today, Matt.
It's definitely a pleasure. Thank you.
Wish you guys the best as you move forward. And thanks for watching the forum here on Eagle Community Television. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, I'd like to hear from you. You can find me at gary.shorman@eaglecom.net. You can also find us on Facebook under ECTV Forum. I'd like to hear from you. Thanks for watching. The program is brought to you by Hayes Med and by Eagle Communication, our community connected.
Hayes Med is your first and best choice for healthcare. They're the only facility providing tertiary level services in this region. With more than 70 physicians and 26 specialties ranging from heart, orthopedic, spine care, cancer, obstetrics and gynecology, wound care, rehabilitation and surgery, including the Da Vinci robotic surgery, Hayes Med is your comprehensive health provider for people throughout Western Kansas. Hayes Med, helping people be healthy.